Hello, people of the internet, and welcome to another episode of Guitar Stuff. Cookie. I gotta warn you, this episode was meant to be something completely different. After the pinch harmonic episode, a lot of you guys sent me pictures and went like, when I talked about the fried shrimp, I'm doing it different. And then I thought, well, this is a great momentum to just like dive in and talk more about how to hold a guitar pick. And I thought I'm gonna ask all my friends to send me pictures how they hold their guitar pick. Which I already received a lot of great pictures from the UK, from the States, and all over the place. But some of them are like in Japan. Some of them are touring right now. Some of them are on vacation. So I'm still waiting on more pictures. But nevertheless, I thought that would be interesting. And then this happened. Let me just say there's no freaking way that I'm gonna use this thumb to hold a guitar pick for quite a while now. And what happened is, I'm very well aware of the fact that it sounds like an absolute made-up stupid story, but it's not. Yesterday, I happened to be in a place where there was a lot of parrots, like African greys and cockatoos and aras and beautiful, stunning, beautiful animals. And there was one cockatoo. And he was so cute. He was like, he could even say hello. He was nibbling and I'm like, oh, hi. And I thought to myself, how in the world is it possible that an animal that beautiful and majestic and big can put like the tip of his beak like so precise together that, and I remember when I thought that, what happened was that he probably mistaken my thumb with a grape and he just clearly cut a not small chunk of flesh out of my right thumb fingertip. What in the world are you doing? So if I dare to put the picture up here, I'm gonna blur it out. Like the blood was running down my wrist and shit, and I shook my hand and it was just like, ah. I don't blame the cockatoo. It was my stupidity. It was my own fault because I was stupid. But yeah, so that literally forces me right now to Cookie. And I thought about things that would mainly concern the left hand, not so much the left and right hand communication, but more like the left hand. And of course, clearly there's like this topic called hammerings and pull-offs, right? And again, I'm very well aware that most of you already know that and what it is. I just want to give you, and the few of you who don't know, maybe, a little bit of a perspective how I approach hammerings and pull-offs. A hammering is literally creating two notes with your left hand without picking both notes. Meaning you play a note, bang, and then you hammer on, just like the word says it, hammer on the higher note. So a hammering is always from a low note to a high note. And again, I'm gonna use this amazing hello. If I hammer on a note, right, it's always from the low note to the higher note. Meaning I fret a note, let's take the same two notes and do a pull-off. A pull-off is often like the answer of a hammer-on. Sometimes, not always. But you can, for example, take the higher note and fret it, and then also fret at the same time the lower note because you're pulling off to that note. What I see my students do a lot of times is like they play that note and then they would try to like do this. And that doesn't work. So you have to fret both notes when you try to do a pull-off. Play the second, the higher note. Play this one. Keep the pressure on here and then go. Right? So you hammer on is. And pull-off is. I could just like go, that's it! See you next week! No. One of my favorite examples how to practice hammer-ons and pull-offs is Thunderstruck. AC/DC's Thunderstruck. Yes, I am aware of the fact that he plays it with alternate picking. Right? I get that. But it's still, in the end, a very recognizable little lick melody that you can use to practice. Because what happens most of the times with hammer-ons and pull-offs is that the first note is shorter than it's supposed to be. Meaning, if you do that, your rhythm control of the notes you're playing is in your left hand. Us guitar players are used to like have the, you know, not the fret hand, but the hell, this one, control the rhythm. Because the rhythm comes out as soon as you play. So what now, if you create rhythm, it's kind of like similar to sweeping. Sweeping is like something different as well, because you have a different understanding of how to control the rhythm. But with hammerings, I see a lot of times like, what is the other AC/DC example? Ow! I shall not, why did I do this? Hi, Cookie. I tried again. If you play this... God, this feels so wrong. The first 4 notes are pretty much pull-offs, right? You fret the 3rd, pull off. Same thing on the B string. Fret. And the way you should look at this rhythm is... Da 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 da. Here comes the problem. You do a pull-off and it's mostly... I think this is the most complicated thing if you learn about hammerings and pull-offs, is to like control the rhythm, that it's like a solid... Thunderstruck has... Hello? Thunderstruck has this really recognizable melody. I always recommend this as a first practice when it comes to, you know, mastering the technique of hammer-ons and pull-offs. Practicing Thunderstruck is, there's 2 ways. You can either go play the fretted note and then do a pull-off, or you just simply hammer-on, pull-off, hammer-on, pull-off, and you don't need the right hand whatsoever, maybe for the first note. Meaning... and so on. Option number 2 is you just play and pluck the first note, and then everything else is, that would be level number 2. The rest is just hammer-ons and pull-offs. It's very easy to feel there's a correct rhythm. Like if you fret too long or if you pull off too fast, it just doesn't sound like Thunderstruck. Playing the first note and then the rest is just hammer-ons. What I do with my right hand is I put my thumb usually on the G string, ouch, and use my ring finger to mute the E string from below. So it's literally just the B string that is ringing. Pluck the first one. Get it? You want to control the rest of the guitar strings. Mute them. Oh, man, I swear, this is gonna take me like a while before I'll ever consider holding a guitar pick again. If you could see this, it's like a carved chunk of flesh missing out of my thumb. It's not fun. Again, I don't blame the cockatoo. It was my stupidity. Anyway, that would be something that I would recommend for practicing hammer-ons and pull-offs. Do not go... Go... And here's the thing also about hammer-ons and pull-offs. A lot of my younger students especially, if you practice that and you try that for the first time, I always say, like, just imagine it's like a hammer, okay? You have this hammer and you want to... It's a rubber hammer. It's not like a massive, heavy hammer that goes like... Boom! If you have one of these rubber hammers and you smash it against the wall, what happens is like your hammer goes like... Boom! Boom! That's more the feeling of how you do that. Your string vibrates, right? You play it and it vibrates. When your movement of your other finger that does the hammer-on is too slow, what happens is that your finger is gonna be... And then your string stops. your string will stop vibrating, meaning there's not gonna be tone. So if I do this movement slow, I can push as much as I want, but I kept the string from vibrating, so that's why the tone is killed. It's safe to say what you don't need to practice your hammer-on and pull-off technique is a cockatoo that bites a giant chunk of your meat and flesh out of your right thumb. Alright, everybody, if you enjoyed this video, please share, like, blah, 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 blah. And I'm gonna see you again next week for, hopefully, maybe, I'm not sure, but we'll see about next week's episode. And yeah, I hope you have a beautiful day. Stay safe and sane, happy and healthy, and see you next time. Bye!